my great pleasure to introduce Len Brass. Len has spent his career in education at all levels, primary, elementary, high school, and ultimately as a supervisor at the university level. It doesn't mean he can't hold a job, it just means he really likes what he does. In addition to being an academician, he's a very good guy to talk to. He's a real common sense man, and when you hear his message, I think you'll take something from it and enjoy it for the rest of your life. With that, I'd like to introduce Len Brass.
Several years ago, I went to a conference, and the man who was speaking said, as he pointed his finger at 2,000 people, "I want you to remember the 3 H's. Now, I had never heard of the 3 H's, so that got my attention. And this is what he did. He put his hand on his head like this, and he said, the first H is your head. You see, people have wonderful ideas in their heads about what they can do to make other people's lives happier, more complete. And I believe, looking out at my audience this morning, that there are hundreds of you who do that as well. Think about how you can make a difference. I have a lot of faith in people your age, and I believe that when in need, high school students can do what people need them to do. Then he put his hand on his chest like this. He said, the second H is your heart. You see, each of us have wonderful, wonderful feelings about how we can touch others and touch the world. Our hearts are very big. They're very full. And then he held his hand up like this. He said, that's the third H. It's your hand. You see, it isn't what you think. It isn't all the best intentions in the world. It's what you do that counts. And today I'm going to talk to you about something I've been asking people to do to make a difference in young people's lives ever since April 20th, 1999, which unfortunately we remember as the day of the slaughter at Columbine. On that particular day, my life was changed. I was a school principal in Littleton, and friends called and said, you need to talk to adults and young people about what happened that horrible, horrible day. So, I'd like to take you on a short trip. Come back to Littleton with me, and I'd like you to meet 2 little boys. They're about this big. They're cute. They run around like little boys do. They run into walls. They do silly things. They make you laugh. They make you smile. People pat them on the head. Everybody likes to hug them. And they're very happy guys. And then they get older. And they stop being so cute. Other little boys take their place. And now these boys have to find a place to fit. And sometimes that's easy. And sometimes it's very, very difficult. Well, 2 boys grew up, looked around, and thought, where do I fit? How do I fit? They weren't jocks. They didn't find clubs. They didn't play musical instruments. They were both a little nerdy. And they couldn't find that niche. They couldn't find that place. They wanted to be needed desperately. And so they looked around for people like themselves. People who were angry. People who didn't like themselves. People who wondered why other people didn't like them as well, didn't invite them to parties, didn't make them feel good about themselves. And the angrier they got, the more time they spent thinking about how to take their anger out on other people. For a year, they built bombs, they collected guns, they purchased bullets. And then, on April 20th, 1999, which just happens to be the birth date of Adolf Hitler, they decided to do something that all of us, I'm sure, would agree is horrific. They wanted to be known in the same way that Hitler, Manson, and other killers were known, because at least then they'd be recognized.
That was the day that two young men went into Columbine High School, armed to the teeth. They had already placed bombs around the school. You see, the intention was not to kill 12 children and one teacher. The intention was to take down a high school. And it was very, very carefully planned. The date they selected, April 20th, was another man's very special date. A date in infamy, the birthday of Adolf Hitler. These boys wanted to sit with Adolf Hitler as one of the world's biggest killers, most hated individuals. And so they walked in, aimed their guns, not indiscriminately, and started to shoot. Now they would walk up to a girl who was a cheerleader and shoot her, and walk by another one who they thought was just a plain girl and not pull the trigger. They would walk up to an athlete and shoot him, and walk by a boy who never played on a sports team. And they picked out another group as well. And this group were called minorities. You see, these two boys needed victims who they felt were less than them. Somebody less deserving to live in their crippled minds. And then they aimed the guns at themselves. And that was the end of two teenagers. So these boys seek out what they need. They need to fit, they need to belong, they need to be listened to, they need to be special. But as they get older, they don't find too many ears to listen to anymore. Parents with whom they're alienated. Teachers who look down at them. And so they get angry. And they look for others to get angry with them. And pretty soon, you have a hate group in a high school. Now, most of the students who hate don't bring guns, don't plan for a year to kill other people. But sometimes that happens, and not just at Columbine. And when it happens, all we can do is look at the situation and say, what was missing? Where could we have made a difference? Save these two boys and therefore save 13 other people. Where? How? There are other kids that have the potential of doing what these boys did. The answer to the question is clearly yes. I'd like to tell you a story about some of those kids. These are girls. Anymore, she said, I'm 9 months pregnant and I have to leave. And so she left, leaving me with a position to fill. And I interviewed two people. I didn't like them. And then on a Tuesday, my secretary knocked at my door and said, you're going to like this. You're just going to like this. It's interview time. And in walked two 16-year-old girls. And they sat down on the couch. And one girl looked at me and she said, we want this position. I said, that's very nice, girls. I'm sure that you do, but I have some bad news. I'm looking for a custodian, a real custodian. I'm looking for people who know how to use chemicals, who know how to do the cleaning. You're both very nice. Thanks for coming in. Have a great day. It's really been nice meeting you. And they should have stood up and left, but they didn't.
One came over and she leaned over my desk. She put her nose about 2 inches away from mine and she said, "Sir, you don't understand. We want this job. We'll work for you for 1 week for free. You like us, you hire us. You don't like us, you fire us. But that gives you a week to find," quote, "a real custodian." Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the word chutzpah. I guess some of you are. It means nerve. I love a teenager with nerve enough to look me in the face and tell me what they're thinking.
Okay, girls, get out there and start cleaning. And out they went. 3 days later, I was standing in the hallway after school. There was a male teacher I wanted to speak to. He was way down the end of the corridor. So as he came out of his classroom, I yelled, John, hey, come on over here. I need to talk to you." I'm sure that what went through his mind was, "Oh boy, I have to talk to the principal. What did I do now?" He reached in his pocket, pulled out a pack of gum, pulled out a piece, put it in his mouth, and threw the wrapper on the floor. I saw that. And so did one of the 2 high school girls. And she ran down the hall as fast as her little legs could carry her, and she got in his face. And she looked at him and she said, "Sir, I clean this floor." Now, I don't know what he would have said to her had the principal not been watching. Use your imagination. "Okay," he said. And he bent over and he picked up the piece of paper and he put it in his pocket. And I walked over to the girl and I said, "You tell your buddy you are now permanent employees in my school." She smiled. "Thank you," she said. "By the way, could we talk to you on Tuesday after school?" "Yes," I said, "sure." 3 o'clock, I walked into my office. There they were. And this is what one of the girls said to me as she looked very, very deeply into my eyes. "We're quitting high school next week," she said. "Can't stand it anymore." You see, we get no respect in that school. We don't date jocks. We're not athletic. We don't play in the band or sing in the choir. We don't have those patches on the back of our jeans, the ones that say that our parents can afford these jeans. We don't have a car out in the yard. Can't stand the pressure. Can't stand the looks. Everybody walks around us. They never look at us. So we have to quit high school. Now, what they wanted from me was something like this. "It's okay, girls. I understand. I feel your pain. I know how hard it is to be treated the way you feel you're being treated." That's what they wanted to hear. This is what they heard. If you want respect, throw your shoulders back, stand up straight, and earn it. Go out and do something for someone else instead of sitting around and crying about poor me. You want respect, you earn it. It isn't free. Quit high school, you're fired. Now get out of my office and go to work. They call that tough love. Well, they both walked out, but they didn't quit. Let me tell you, they didn't quit. What they did was this. One girl came to me and said, could we meet with you next Tuesday? I said, Tuesday again? Yes, 3 o'clock on Tuesday. Okay. I walked into my office, 3 o'clock on Tuesday. There were 7 girls sitting there. I think we've multiplied, ladies. Please tell me why there are 7 girls sitting in my office. I'm really curious. Well, the more assertive of my custodians stood up and she said, we thought you'd like to meet the club. I said, the club? Okay. She said, would you like to know the name of the club? I said, of course. What's the name of the club? She said, we're the Nobodies. I said, oh, 16 years old and already nobodies. One girl said, last week I woke up, went in the bathroom, brushed my teeth. I was brushing my hair. I looked in the mirror. My image disappeared. No one cared. No one even knew I was gone. So I held back the tears and I said, girls, I'm about to do something that's going to get me in a lot of trouble with my wife. I'm about to adopt 7 high school girls. From now on, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can call, you can come over, you can be part of my life. And I will meet with you 3 o'clock every Tuesday to talk, to learn, to share. And so every Tuesday, and no one ever missed, we would sit and we would talk. 7 months later, one young lady raised her hand. She pulled it right down because she recognized straight away we didn't use raised hands. We just said what we felt. She said, guess what? I said, what? She said, I've got a boyfriend. I said, that's great. Great. Boyfriends are wonderful. Used to be one myself. Glad you have a boyfriend. She said, would you like to know what I said to my boyfriend? I said, certainly. Tell me what you said to your boyfriend. She said, I looked Tim in the eyes and I said, Tim, when you're with me, you're with a special person and I want to be treated accordingly. I said, oh my gosh, you said that to Tim? I bet he was out the door, down the stairs, and around the corner fast as his little legs could carry him. She said, oh, no, no, no. That's the way he treats me. That's the way I treat him. And if he treats me differently, I hope the door doesn't hit him too hard on the rear end as he goes out that door, down those stairs, and out of my life. She said, as a matter of fact, that's the way I demand to be treated by my fellow students, by my teachers, by my parents, and even by you. And I kind of smiled. I said, you know what? You need to thank the person who told you to say that. So she came up and gave me a hug and a kiss. I told her to say that. I'm a special person, and I want to be treated accordingly. I'm a special person, and I want to be treated accordingly. Special people don't pull triggers. Special people don't kill, don't maim, don't hurt, don't punish, don't torture, don't hate. People who like themselves don't spend time
putting other people down and abusing them. People who like themselves don't make bombs and try to kill people. I have a special challenge for parents, relatives, and other adults who care for young people. The challenge is take the time to listen to them. Approach them. They want to be approached. Even if they pull back, don't quit. They need you to listen. They need you to care. They need you to make a difference. Find a child. Find one today or tomorrow. And help that child. Support that child. Listen. Listen not just with your ears, listen with your heart. No more Columbines. No more Columbines.